Hello, power players. Welcome to the T-shirt transfer paper power half hour, brought to you by all the fine folks here at Condé Systems Incorporated. My name's Doug DeWitt, product manager. Welcome to the show. Sitting behind the camera, doing the directing for us, our good friend Rodeo Bo. And Rodeo, we got a great show today for the people because today is about all that glitters. Reminds me of my childhood. Whenever I would wipe out on my bike or fall out of the tree fort and bust myself up, my dad would always tell me, put a little glitter on it. You'll be fine. Save that trip to the hospital. So today in this episode, we're going to show you how to incorporate glitter using hot stamp foil into your designs for the holiday season. Now, before we get started with the topic, Rodeo Bo, what do we have to do here on the T-shirt transfer paper power half hour? We got to pay the power bill. And the first thing up on the power bill, ladies and gentlemen, is you only have 1 month left to register for our quarterly gallery contest, which is crafting and sublimation. All you have to do is take a picture of your product that involves the combination of sublimation and crafting, submit it on our website, and you could have the chance to win our grand prize, which is up to $400 in Condé credit. There'll be other prizes awarded too, so make sure you enter before the deadline, which is December 31st, the end of December. That's our quarterly gallery contest, ladies and gentlemen. Also wanted to let you know that even though Black Friday week might be over, and by the way, thank you to everyone who placed their order during Black Friday week. I hope you enjoyed all those incredible savings. I hope you are going through your black box right now. But that doesn't necessarily mean that sales are over, because we are still having a sale on Sawgrass printers and Sawgrass inks. That sale is running through the end of this week. Okay, so if you want more information, click the banner on our website and it will take you to the landing page, tell you everything you need to know. But stock up on your sublimation printers and sublimation inks before the end of the week. And last but not least, we still have ornaments, tumblers, and mugs on sale carrying over from Black Friday week. So make sure to check out those incredible deals. Again, click the banner on our website for more info. Okay, Rodeo Bo, I think the power bill is paid. Let's go ahead and get started with talking about all that glitters. And what we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to be using Forever Hot Stamping Foil. Okay, it comes in about 20 different colors and textures. The size, it is an 11.8 inch by 39 foot roll of stamping foil. And you can use this stamping foil a number of different ways. You can use it with sublimation. All you need is the Forever Sublilite No Cut and what they call their sublimation adhesive foil. So remember, you need two products plus the hot stamp foil if you want to do this with sublimation process. But what we're going to demonstrate today is using this product with laser transfers, specifically the Forever Low Temp Laser Dark. Now, the great thing about the process is if you're planning on foiling your entire design, then all you really need is what we call a stencil design. And what I recommend, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're doing it with inkjet sublimation or with color laser, whenever you create your black stencil, you want to design that color as a CMYK, 100% cyan, 100% magenta, 100% yellow, 100% black. Why? So that you put enough ink or toner onto that transfer to get it to work its magic, which is create that self-weeding design that acts as the target for our hot stamp foil. So what we're going to do is demonstrate a few different ways to do it. Now, before we get started here, let's talk about some of the accessories that you're going to need. For instance, I've got my collection of Forever Low Temp Laser Dark transfers. Now, for the interest of time, I went ahead and did the A to B weed step on these. So all these transfers are ready to apply. I'm also going to need some nonstick silicone sheets. Now, you can use the gloss finishing sheet or the matte finishing sheet. It just depends on how you want the finished foil to look, whether you want it to keep that shiny looking effect or whether you want to matte it out a little bit. But you're going to need some of that stuff. You could use a roll of heat tape in case you are positioning transfers in a multi-layer design, which we will show you here in a second. Some scissors are going to come in handy. Definitely need a hot, sticky lint roller. And by the way, last but not least, you need your hot stamp foil, all different colors and varieties of foil. And as a little added bonus for watching the show today, we're actually giving away a roll of hot stamp foil to anyone who comments during the show. Use hashtag HSF for hot stamp foil for your opportunity to win a free roll at the end of the show so you can try out the magic of glitter for yourself. All right, well, let's get started with our first example here. We're going to talk about how to foil a single color design. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to replicate this design I did here earlier, show it to the folks at home. Glitter. All right. So let's figure out how to do it. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my transfer, which, like I said, I've already done the A to B step, so I've got the emulsion on the back here. Now I need my sample shirt. Let me go ahead and grab one, and for demonstration purposes, I'm using a Hanes Beefy Tee 100% cotton t-shirt. I'm going to open up my handy dandy George Knight DK20S heat press, which I have set to 310 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to lay the design, or pardon me, lay the shirt down, square it up as best we can, flatten that shirt out, make sure there are no wrinkles in there, and of course, let's use our sticky lint roller to remove any contaminants. And we're going to go ahead and give this shirt a pre-press for about 5 to 10 seconds. I don't necessarily have to lock the press in. I'm just checking to see if any moisture is escaping from the side. If not, we should be good to go. Nice, smooth area to work with. Okay, so now let's go ahead and prep our transfer. And by prepping our transfer, what I mean is sometimes whenever we do the A to B, we might have a little bit of edging left over from the B sheet. That shows up as a little line around our design, which we do not want. So I am just going to do a quick cut around the design to make sure that indentation line does not appear. Because if that indentation line's there and the foil hits it, well, now you'll have a foil indentation line. But at least it'll be glitter, right? Right. Okay. So we've got our design. Let's move over to the heat press. I want to place that design where I want it to appear. Now, when it comes to setting our design with the transfer paper, when it comes to the forever low temp, we're not going to have to do the usual 30-second press time. All we have to do is hit it for about 10 to 15 seconds with a light pressure. So let me cover it with a sheet of butcher paper. And again, I'm pressing at 310 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 15 seconds with a light pressure. Now, once that timer is done, we'll go ahead and pull it out. And I am going to take my shirt, place it down. Now we want to allow the film to cool before we remove it. So usual cooling time is about 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. But to accelerate the process, I'm using a trick here. I've got a sheet of aluminum, and I'm using the aluminum to basically take the heat out of the design. Since we only heated it for about 15 seconds, shouldn't take long. And now I'll just roll there. So here's my text. that we are going to use as the target, so to speak. Okay, so we're going to stick the Forever Hot Stamp foil to this design we just laid down with the Forever Low Temp. So we're going to take the shirt, we're going to put it back onto the press, and if we can, let's put it in the same spot and make sure that our shirt is completely flat. And so now we just pick a roll of hot stamp foil, which, by the way, if you want to enter for a free roll, make a comment, hashtag HSF. Look at this rodeo bow. Hold it up to the people so they could see. Rainbows! Heck yeah. Let's use some rainbow hot stamp foil. So all I want to do is just roll out the amount I need. Give it a quick cut with my pair of scissors. And we take our hot stamp foil, lay it over the area. Now, after that, we want to cover this with a silicone sheet. Now, for the press purpose, I'm going to use a matte silicone sheet to cover. And I want to put another piece of protective paper over the top just to make sure nothing sticks. Now, when it comes to pressing, we're still going to use the 310 degrees Fahrenheit, but we're going to increase our time from 15 seconds to 45 seconds, and this is the key. We got to increase our pressure. On my George Knight DK20S, I'm going like 2.5 revolution turns tighter, so I could really get some heavy pressure on that press. And the reason we're doing that, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to make sure that we drive that hot stamp foil onto our target, which is our Forever Low Temp design. If we have good contact, if we have that heavy pressure, then the foil should release in that area. The foil is only going to stick where we have a design. If there are any areas that aren't covered with a design, no foil should stick. So kind of like our Forever Low Temp, we end up with a self-weeding design, just done with glitter. Okay, few seconds and we're done here, rodeo. Now, what I got to remember to do is reset the pressure for my next attempt. We remove our silicone sheet. And at this point, we want to leave the foil attached. If you could follow me, rodeo, thank you. We leave the foil attached, take our cooling tool, which in my case is just a sheet of aluminum. And again, just like the Forever Low Temp A foil, we want to make sure that we cool down the foil before we remove it. I think that should get it, rodeo. Now, at this point, we just want to gently lift. If done correct, we should see a perfect drop of our original design. And let me hold it up for the people to see, rodeo. How's that? Done in rainbow glitter hot stamp foil provided by Forever Paper. Cash rules everything around me. Dollar bills, y'all. Remember, if you want a sample or a free roll of hot stamp foil, we're giving one away at the end of the show. Hashtag HSF. Make sure to add that into the comments. Okay, so that's one down. We're going to try another example here. I'm going to go ahead and prep my shirt. We're going to do a multicolored design in hot stamp foil. So let me go ahead and lay my next shirt down. Again, let's run through the prep process, which is flatten out that shirt, hot sticky lint roller, and pre-press that shirt for about 5 to 10 seconds. Again, we're just looking for any steam that might be jetting out from the shirt. If you don't see any steam jet out within 5-10 seconds, you're good to go. All right, let me take my next design. Hold it up for everyone here. You can just leave the camera there, Bo. So let's do this as a 2-color design, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, let me grab my scissors. And again, I just want to do a quick trim to my low temp laser dart transfer to make sure I'm not putting any indentation lines down. Position my target design where I want it to appear. Let's cover with a sheet of protective paper. And again, for this step, 310 degrees, 10 to 15 seconds, light pressure. All we're really trying to do is just get the target design to release from the transfer sheet onto the shirt. We're not trying to drive it in with the pressure at the moment, because we're going to do that with our next step, which is when we apply the foil. All right. Let's pull this off. Let me go ahead and put my cooling instrument onto it. And let me set up which colors I'm going to use for this demonstration. I'm going to go with the glitter gold. And let's see, do I have a good silver? Oh yeah, glitter silver. Here we go. So let's use these 2 colors. Now, what it really depends on, ladies and gentlemen, is the outlay of your design. You might be able to put these 2 colors on at the exact same time, which we're going to do. You might have to do it in stages, which we will show you in our next demonstration. But for this one, we're going to try to apply at the same time. Let me roll off the film so that I have my target design. You may not be able to see it on this black shirt, but trust me, it's there. Okay. Again, we're going to put our shirt with our target stencil design back onto the heat press. Let's make sure we try to align the shirt like we originally had it, smooth it out as best as we can. And let me go ahead and start trimming. I think I'm going to do let's take this silver. And I want to align it here. Let's take a little gold. Now, when it comes to this foil, you don't have to be exact. You just have to make sure that the foil covers the area. Let me find the natural break. Got to angle that piece there so that I get Linus, and then lay that over the top there so I get the rest. And then, like I said, we are going to cover with a sheet of matte silicone. We will then cover this with our sheet of protective paper. We're going to use the same temperature, but remember, we want heavy pressure when we hit our hot stamp foil. So I'm going 310 degrees on this one. We want to go about 30 to 45 seconds when we apply the hot stamp foil, okay? So it might take a little bit of experimentation on your end as far as finding the time and pressure range to get consistent results whenever you use the hot stamp foil. It is going to be much easier if you use a swing away heat press for applying hot stamp foil. I'm not saying it can't be done with a clamshell, but normally with clamshells, by their design, you got to crank the pressure up even harder to make sure that the foil sticks to your target area. Just a piece of advice there. All right, Bo, this one should be done. Let's go ahead and remove our protective paper. Remove our matte silicone sheet. And again, when we pull this off the press, let's make sure that the foil is still attached. And we want to cool this down. Again, if we're operating under normal conditions, we'd wait about 5 minutes before we remove it. But in the interest of time, we're going to use a piece of metal here to help rapidly cool the design. Sometimes when we remove the metal, it may make a vacuum that wants to pull the foil off. So if you're using this technique, just be careful when you lift your metal off of your foil. All right. So let's see how this one turned out, Rodeo. Peel away our gold. Peel away our silver. Now, if you notice any excess foil within the design, take your sticky lint roller, lint roll that excess foil like so. And I'm going to give this a matte finish. So let me just put it back on the heat press for a quick second. Cover it with my matte silicone sheet. Readjust my pressure. And I'm hitting it for about an extra 15 seconds with the matte. And basically, this is going to help make sure that our glitter foil is stuck to our stencil design, so to speak. It's going to take a little bit of the shine out of it, just to show you here, ladies and gentlemen. But even if you use a matte finishing sheet, the process is still pretty cool. Can everyone see that? So basically, multicolor design. Now, like I said, this one was fairly easy based on the way the design was created. We're going to try one more example. We're going to do something a little bit more complicated, so please bear with me. Let's take another t-shirt, and again, I'm using Hanes Beefy Tee 100% cotton t-shirts. The nice thing about the Forever Low Temp, though, is we can go to cotton poly blends. We can even go to 100% polyester. So if you wanted to put this on a polyester shirt, the technique would work just the same. Let's flatten out our shirt. Use our lint roller to remove any contaminants. We're going to swing the press over. Pre-press our design for about 5 to 10 seconds. Like I said, what we're mainly checking for is any moisture in the fabric. We want to make sure that's eliminated. All right. Got our smooth area. So now, what I have here, ladies and gentlemen, is I basically have, this originally started as one complete image, but what we're going to do is I've separated it. So we've got the frame and we've got the cartoon, so to speak, or the comic. And what we're going to do is we're going to foil the frame, and then we're going to drop our multicolor design into the middle. Let me show you what I mean. Again, let me start by doing a trim to my low temp to make sure I get no indentation lines from that B sheet onto my shirt. There we go. And so I'm going to go ahead, place the frame where I want it to appear, lining it up as best I can. Let's cover it with a sheet of protective paper. And let's set the target into the fabric. Like I said, 310 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 15 seconds with a light pressure. As a matter of fact, on this one, I'm going to go 10 seconds, Rodeo. There we go. Now, just like the other part, let's cool down this transfer. And we want to make sure that the transfer is cool before we remove it. If we remove it while it's still warm, some of our target may want to stay on the transfer sheet or stay on this A foil sheet and not release to the shirt. So always better to exercise a little caution. Make sure you've got it cool. But for demonstration purposes, we're just going to move right along here. So now I've got my target. Now I'm going to go ahead and foil it. Put the shirt back on the heat press. Make sure we've got our t-shirt as flat as we can get it. And let me pick another color here, Rodeo Bow. I think I'm going to go with this green because that's money. Speaking what of money, you know it's absolutely money, Rodeo. We are giving away a roll of hot stamp foil at the end of the show. Your choice of color, so you could try out all these neat tricks for yourself. If you want to register, just comment with the hashtag HSF for hot stamp foil. All right, so like I said, we want to make sure our foil is flat. We want to make sure that we cover our foil with a sheet of silicone. And then me personally, I like to come over the top with some protective paper. And remember, we want heavy pressure when we're applying the foil to our target design. We're going to do it at 310 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 45 seconds. But the key is that heavy pressure, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't exert heavy pressure on it, then the foil may not stick in all areas of the design. That would be a bummer. To kind of show you, this is how my test shirt turned out earlier. I don't know if the people can see it at home, Rodeo, but you might see a little bit of dropout along the edge down there at the bottom. So yeah, we want to make sure that we get good coverage with our foil, and the best way to do that is to make sure we use a heavy pressure. So let's remove our protective paper. Let's remove our silicone sheet. Let's bring the shirt over to the table. Move that out of the way just a little. Hopefully people can see. And we're going to rapidly cool the foil. Again, I'm using a sheet of aluminum. Some people will set up a fan over the top. Some people will lay them on metal desk. Whatever your technique is, just make sure the foil has cooled down before you remove it. Like so. So basically, now that I have my grid laid out and done in foil, here comes the fun part. Let's drop our Forever Low Temp multicolor design onto this. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure this t-shirt is flat. And I'm also going to take a lint roller to make sure that I get any of these loose particles that might be on the shirt off. Again, let's make sure this shirt is flat. Now, I'm going to take my second design, which is my multicolor design that I printed with my Creo white toner printer. I'm going to go ahead and trim up here. And now, let me go ahead and align the design as best I can. And to make sure that it stays aligned, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the heat tape is going to come in. So I'm going to take a few pieces of heat tape and let me secure this corner here. Oop. It's the great thing about heat tape. If you misalign, you can just peel it up, reset it. Try this again, ladies and gentlemen. Flatten that out. Align my target. Secure with some heat tape to make sure it doesn't shift. And now, let's cover it with a protective sheet. Let's swing our press over. Remember, go back to a medium pressure, and we just basically follow the rules of traditional forever low temp application onto 100% cotton, which is 310 to 330 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds with the medium pressure. Bo, if you can jump back to the heat press for me. Thank you, good sir. So remember, when it comes to using the technique of going with the low temp paper and then with the hot stamp foil, you're basically using a medium pressure to do your A to B step. You are using a light pressure to apply your target design to the fabric, and you are using a heavy pressure whenever you apply the hot stamp foil. All right. So now let's take this off, put it on our table. And again, I'm going to go ahead and use my sheet of aluminum to rapidly cool this design. If I were doing this in a production setting, I would just set this shirt off, start working on the next one, come back about 5-10 minutes later, remove the film, everything should be cool. But let's see how this one turned out right now. Let me get the heat tape off. There we go. Let's start at one corner. And roll the material off. Let me show people how it turned out, Bo. There we go. Combination of hot stamp foil and forever low temp. And like I said, if we want a matte finish, all we have to do is put the design back on the platen, take out our matte silicone sheet. Now, if you want a gloss finish, you could use the gloss silicone sheet. That's perfectly cool. But let's give it another 15 seconds in the press. Make sure everything's matted down, and we should have our finished shirt. All right. And of course, while this is warm, I can pop the shirt from side to side, give it a little bit of flexibility. Let me show the folks at home how it turned out. So combination of hot stamping foil and forever low temp multicolor design done with the Creo white toner printer. Pretty darn cool. Definitely adds value to your garments. Thank you, Rodeo. So I hope everyone got a better understanding of how you could use the Forever Hot Stamp Foil. Just so you know, we are experimenting with other applications involving hot stamp foil, such as applying it to a hard substrate. Let me show the folks, Rodeo. See this technique here? Putting hot stamp foil on a hard substrate. Well, that's going to have to be a whole separate show, ladies and gentlemen, because we are out of time today. But remember, I will put it on the calendar so we can learn how to do this next. Thank you, Rodeo. So I think it's time to find a winner, Rodeo. Remember, if you made a comment during the show with hashtag HSF, it's going to qualify you to win one free roll of Forever Hot Stamp Foil, your choice of available color, compliments of your friends at Condé Systems. Do we have a winner, Rodeo?
I don't know.
Well, should we? Oh, we'll fire up Condé Lucky Draw 9000. Find me a winner, Rodeo. Do it. Do it now. Okay, is that Victoria? I hope so, because congratulations. You just won a roll of Forever Hot Stamp Foil, compliments of Condé Systems Incorporated. Here's what we need you to do. Send your information in an email to me. Show them my email address, Rodeo Bo. My email address is djdewitt@condé.com. Like I said, get your information to me. I'll get your information to your account manager, and we will make sure that we set you up with your free roll of Forever Hot Stamp Foil. Thank you so much for watching, Victoria. Thank you for everyone for participating. If you have any questions about the techniques that we covered in today's show, leave your question in the comments section either on Facebook or YouTube, because Rodeo Bo and I always go through the comments and questions to make sure you get answers. And also remember to tune in 2 weeks for our next episode of the T-Shirt Transfer Paper Power Half Hour, where we will have an extra special show. We will give you a rundown of the best T-shirt transfer products of the year, as voted on by yours truly and members of our Condé Systems team. So you definitely want to check that out. That's in 2 weeks, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, I'm Doug DeWitt, Transfer Paper Product Manager at Condé Systems. Thank you for watching the T-Shirt Transfer Paper Power Half Hour. My time is up. I thank you for yours.